Good morning, welcome to Headline Focus here, live on Core Politics with me, Rob Double. It is Thursday, the 11th of January 2018. Let's have a look at what's making the news. So to start off with, plastic waste war. Now this is the big story today politically from the government. Theresa May, the Prime Minister, and Michael Gove, the Environment Secretary, will unveil their 25-year environmental strategy. This is centred around plans to cut disposable waste, particularly in plastics, through a series of eye-catching measures. The government's saying it wants to get rid of all avoidable plastic waste by at least by 2042. So quite a long-term plan, but let's have a look at these measures. So measures are going to include extending the 5p plastic bag tax to all shops rather than just the main shops. Currently, corner shops have been excluded from the 5p tax. Asking supermarkets to create plastic-free aisles. Banning all plastic cutlery from Whitehall, and Gove is also touring the broadcasting studios this morning to unveil further announcements regarding the environment. This is what's been called Blue Planet politics. So environmental programmes, environmental documentaries, and being environmentally conscious is becoming in vogue, particularly in politics. And the Conservatives are therefore pivoting their strategy towards it. Michael Gove obviously has been in the Environment Secretary brief for a while now, a few months, and at least is really trying to deliver on big, bold headlines, whether it's plastic, whether it's protecting beavers or protecting wildlife or whatever. So expect more of that today. As you can see, the Daily Mail calling it their landmark victory from the government. Next up then in the Brexit impact assessments. Now you might remember this got a lot of news from the central government regarding these Brexit assessments that David Davis apparently then said never actually existed. Well, there are now some Brexit assessments, but they've come from London Mayor Sadiq Khan, and they're not good pictures for the UK. £54 billion hit to the economy, potentially by 2030, depending on the final deal we get with the EU. This is the first taxpayer-funded assessment, or first unveiled reported taxpayer-funded assessments, which were commissioned by the London Mayor. These assessed scenarios basically looked at leaving the single market and the customs union, and also leaving both and failing to get a transition deal as well. And so wanting to assess the economic implications, particularly, of course, on London and the financial service sector that's in the city of London as well. Economic output could be 3% lower by 2030 than it would be in the single market and customs union, or continued access to both of them at least. This will obviously infuriate the government, or rather could infuriate the government. There's been such a furore about assessment reports coming from them in recent months. This could really be a bit of an undermining of Theresa May and David Davis's sentiments that unveiling any assessments would be undermining the British negotiating strategy over in Brussels. So it's going to be an interesting one to see how David Davis responds today. Have a look on the Newswires if you are interested in that. One more coming up today is a watershed moment for the NHS. That's what health chiefs are saying, and are calling on Jeremy Hunt, the Health Secretary, to spend billions more to help maintain services. Now, they're referring to, of course, the NHS winter crisis, which was obviously in the past few months over Christmas in particular. They're saying, and this is NHS Providers, which is the body representing hospitals, that austerity cuts by the government have starved the NHS of funds, meaning, and they're issuing a warning, that the service can no longer meet its constitutional standards of care without extra funding. And now the Chief Executive, Chris Hobson, has been on the Today programme today and has said for the first time in NHS history last year, all of the key targets were missed, referring to key health targets that are in place and set by the government with health advisors. This is leading to worse patient care, understaffing and failure to meet targets. They're saying the NHS providers are saying the NHS needs, in terms of a budget change, up to £153 billion. That's £20 billion more than what has been budgeted for by the government. This is to pay out for 15,000 more extra beds in hospitals and to cope with the surge in admissions during winter months. That's pretty much it for today. You're up to date. Don't forget you can find all the latest on what we're doing here on Core Politics on our Facebook page and Twitter. We've got some brand new Inside Europe coming out today and also in the next coming days, so make sure to check those out as well. But from me and all the team here at Core London, have a fantastic start to your day.